Okay, bring it back and show you where I'm at here. Got her ground down where got plenty of clearance under this cover. A little bit warm, but as you can see, those holes line up perfect. Got a little bit of slop in it. I think I'm going to leave this piece on back here, but my next step will be to figure this out. It looks to me, if I just took this, I'm gonna have to modify it. Because just bending it, I'm not gonna catch this lower hole. So I will do some marking there. I may actually throw some bolts in it just to snug that flange up and see where it's at. And I'll mark this piece and cut it, and then I'll start working on the piece that comes around. So that's where we're at for right now. Pretty sure I've showed some of you guys before, but I got some new viewers now that I got this project going. And if you're not using flex cut grinding wheel, these things are awesome. Not sponsored, but I use the Walter flex cut grinding wheel. I also use the Walter all steel flapper wheels. And one really cool thing about these flapper wheels, we'll see if you can see it here, there's actually an arrow with a line right there. As this flapping wheel wears down, you can actually get this against a piece of metal in your vise and take the plastic off, clear up to that mark right there, and keep using it. And then here recently, I also started using the Walter zip wheels, so highly recommended. The other thing about these zip wheels, they are designed so you can actually grind with them too. Like I say, a little more expensive, but from what I've found, well worth it. I mean, you've seen what I did just on that piece of metal. I've been using the heck out of those. And just the way they're designed, they last a long time. This one here, we'll go ahead and change it out. It actually, hang on. Oh. So the grinding wheel, it actually threads onto your grinder. The other one just goes on with your regular holder. So just a little tidbit for you there. I'm going to go ahead and throw that flapper wheel on there. Get that cleaned up a little bit better, smoothed up, and see where we go from there. So. So I'm going to bring you guys back here for a few minutes. Interesting turn of events for the good this time. So got that plate where it's fitting. When I've got the mounting flange up there. So what I did is I took and held it up there tight. I actually put this on there and just snugged it where it was tight. Cut my spring pad, U-bolt pad, where it would be right out here at the edge. Interestingly enough, this is the piece that I cut off. You see that there. And I got doing some looking. I couldn't tell for sure until I rounded these corners off. And lo and behold, I still gotta hog this out a little bit more. But when I put the bolts up through there, that bolt pattern's the same. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do now. So I'll get that. I don't know which way it'll go right now, but probably something like that. No, guess I gotta put you guys where you can see. Probably something like that. That's going to give me a good place to weld to back there on the back, on both sides. So now what I'm going to have to decide is, do I go ahead? I'm going to go ahead and shape down a bolt so it fits in there in that bottom hole like a dowel, and then the top bolt could go through here. So what I got to decide now, because these go on, my bolts go in with a flat and a lock, and what I may do is when I go to town tomorrow, I may get me another bolt that is just that much longer, and go ahead and bolt the top, and then the bottom will have a bolt welded to this piece. Like I said, I have a bolt welded to this piece right here that goes in and acts like a dowel. And if I can't find a bolt that's just right, I can always get one that's a little longer, thread me a nut on there. So I'll have to get a couple of nuts, but I'll thread me a nut on there and then take and cut it down. I don't want to bottom it out. Well, which let's see, on the top one, it won't, because those bolts go clear, those threads go clear through. So yeah. That was an interesting find with that leftover old trailer U-bolt pad that I had. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up here. Get this center hogged out with my die grinder. And here where it fits on there good, actually with a little extra room. And then I probably won't do anything else till tomorrow. I'm going to make sure I pick up some different length of bolts to go in those threaded holes on the side. Like I say, I've stuck a wire in there and measured those. I think one of them is about 3/4 and the other is about 1 3/4. I'll get a variety, even though they're metric and I won't have a whole lot of use for them. I'll get several different lengths, and I'll get that bolted on, get the front bolted on. I can always work on that dowel last, the bolt that I'm going to make into a dowel. I'll have to make sure I unhook my battery on the hoe before I go doing any welding on it. Because what I'll have to do, I'll have to get both pieces in there, get them tacked, and then I'll take them off and bring them in here out of the wind with not blowing my gas away, where I can get a good weld on it. So things are looking up. So stick with me here and stand by. We'll keep going. All right, bring you back here for a quick update. You see I got that hogged out there in the center where good. Right in there, bolts line up. This is the other piece. So this is going to be the top. Let's see here. Yep, goes on like that. So that's how they're going to go together. Like I say, it gives me a good welding surface front and back. I believe this piece is going to have to go up some, because that drops down a little. And yeah, got one. My bolts fit pretty good, and that one fits good. That's the top one. The bottom one, oh, I guess I gotta get you guys where you can see. Let me get that top one in there. That bottom one is a little bit shy up here. I may have to take and hog it out a little, but that bolt does go in, and that's going to be the one that I'm fitting in down here as a yeah, end of the day I can't even think. That's the one I'm going to be fitting in as a dowel, so I've got a little bit of room to play with there, and probably not going to get it done. Well, no, I won't do it tomorrow. Like I say, I got to go to town tomorrow. I'm going to get bolts that will hold this bottom one in place. And then snug the flange back up to the engine and tack weld it. That'll be my next step. So that's going to do it for today. Almost 6 o'clock. I'm going to go in, got a NASCAR race recorded. Throw me in some chicken wings and some shrimp. Sit down and watch the race and take it easy. But let me know in the comments what you think of this idea. I had a neighbor come over that dealt with equipment for years, showed him what I was doing, and we kind of come to the conclusion that 3 bolts in that should be sufficient. Better than just 3 bolts. At least this will give it some more support. So that's what we're going to go with. You guys all have a good one. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next day we're out here working. Later. Okay, we're back. Another day in the shop today, but we're still working on the 580 case. Shop dogs, what are you doing? What are you doing? Y'all laying over here in front of the swamp cooler where it's nice and cool, huh? Yeah, we're working inside today. To start with, we're working inside. letting the hoe get in the shade over there. Right now it's 90 degrees here in the shop at 2 in the afternoon, so we got the swamp cooler going. It cools it off, but it sure makes it humid. What do you guys want? Then we turn the cooler back on? Is that the deal? So we're gonna start off today. We made a trip to town yesterday. Got 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid. Got my, hey. Picked up some bolts. Picked up my O-rings. Didn't get my serpentine belt. They didn't have it in stock. So they've ordered it. It'll be in tomorrow by about 9 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to make another trip to town. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna get these pieces all shined up here, cleaned up, so that when we go to mocking up, we got good welding surface. So put you on time lapse here, get that going, get those cleaned up. As soon as the machine over here goes up in the shade a little bit, it's starting to now, we'll get out there, get them bolts in the threaded holes and have these brackets mounted up and figure out where it's going to get welded. Still got to do a little bit of reaming on the hole with the broken bolt. I'm going to use a die grinder bit for that. Probably go ahead and use that one right there. I'll double check, but that'll get me in there and start getting me a tapered hole for my bolt. Then I'm going to have to, once I get the bracket on there, get it tacked together. Then I'll go ahead and get that bolt shaped up and fit in there where it works like a dowel. And I get my length where I can weld the top of it to this plate right here. It's going to go on something like that. Maybe like that. But we're going to get out the grinder, get it all cleaned up, shined up, so then we can weld it and clean it up and then paint it. So thanks for coming along today. Okay, we're back. Started mocking up my bracket that I'm building. Hopefully the wind ain't too bad out here. I got a new remote mic with a little fluffy thing on it, but everything's charging up and I gotta get it hooked up. But here's what I run into. When I started mocking this up, you can see how that's not quite fitting back tight on this side. Hopefully you can see that there. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take this in and I'm going to start heating this. I'm going to take this in, I'm going to start heating this and flattening that out a little bit so it fits better. So we'll get in there and get on that. Let's see if we can get it fitting a little better. The other thing I found, I'm going to show you here quick. When I run this bottom bolt in here, it don't want to go all the way in. They're all the same length of bolt, but it feels like it's bottoming out on something. That's with just a flat on there. I don't have a lock on it yet, but it's bottoming out in there before it tightens down. Let me get in here out of the wind. It bottoms out there before it tightens down. I don't want to force it. But thinking back, I don't remember if that was the top one or the bottom one. The top one is actually, it'll thread clear through and come out the other side of the of the mount. That bottom one does not. It's got me wondering if somebody didn't put the wrong length of bolts in, specifically the bottom, and that could be why the bottom one on the left-hand side that I'm having so much trouble with and can't get out broke. Could be why they both broke, because like I say, I know one of them on the right-hand side was not very tight. So I'm going to explore that a little bit more. I did pick up some nuts yesterday for those bolts, just in case I needed to shorten one. So if I do, I will put a couple of nuts on there and double nut it, and then I will take a flapper wheel and shorten it down. Let's see if we can get back out here without a whole lot of wind. I think I've still got... It's funny, my camera's got a wind reduction setting on it, and it seems to work, but not when the wind's blowing like it is today. Yeah, you can't see it because I didn't run it clear through, but that top one, I've got, well, okay, you can't see it because I've got that spacer on that I made, but it'll actually come clear out the end of this hole here. This bottom one doesn't. So I've run a pick in there, try to gauge it. I've run a pick in there to try to gauge it, and it's really close. So I don't know if it's something with the casting in there is not letting, or starting to hang up that bolt. I don't want to force it. I don't want to break another bolt. So if I have to, I may have to shorten it about maybe 3/8 to a half an inch. So I'm going to get that piece back off, get it in here, get the torch fired up, start turning some metal orange and straightening it out. So we'll catch you in a little bit. Okay, we got that straightened out a little bit. We'll let it sit here and cool slowly. I don't want to make it brittle. I'm going to do a little bit at a time because I don't want to end up with a gap that I got to weld. I want it to fit there pretty good because the way those two pieces will fit together there with that lip bent is going to give me a nice place to weld. Before I hear in the comments, no, I don't have a rosebud tip. That's the first thing I think of and holler at the TV whenever I see somebody with a torch, especially somebody I know that has rosebud tips. But I just bought this little torch setup here. I'd never had one, and I don't use it that much. It's only about the, I don't know, 4th or 5th time I've used it, but when you need them, they come in handy. Trying to stay hydrated here. We're still 90 degrees in the shop, and I'm type 2 diabetic, so I've pretty much gotten off of sugar drinks the last couple of years, maybe 3 years. But I don't like just plain water. I find a lot of people don't like just plain water. So I make my own unsweetened iced tea with regular tea bags, and then I've got some tropical and some blackberry, I believe it is, tea bags that I throw in there. And I'll typically drink 1.5 gallons every 2 days. So I stay hydrated, and that's my drink of choice, is the unsweetened iced tea. I've gotten used to it now. So you see me swilling on that stainless jug, that's what it is. And that thing is nice. I bought it several years ago for when I was going out on the gold claim. And I mean, it'll keep stuff in there cold for 24 hours easy, without any ice or anything. It's a Iron Flask is the brand, and I really like it. So you see me sucking on my jug, that's iced tea. So I'm gonna let that thing cool off, see how it fits. May need just a little more tweaking, but I want a good fit down in there, so stand by. Alrighty, bring y'all back here for a quick update. New day in the shop, working on the 580 case. Didn't get a whole lot done yesterday. What are you guys doing? Jackson? You guys just enjoying the hot summer days that are coming? Huh? So anyhow, yeah, I went to town yesterday, picked up my serpentine belt, picked up a bottle of oxygen. I had to do some modification on this piece so it'd fit a little better. It's still got a little bit of an inward angle on it there, so I may have to heat that and bring it out a little bit. I just welded a few spots back because my clearances, I gotta have a good straight edge there. But got some good weld here, shouldn't go anywhere. I may have to, I still may have to tweak that a little bit. What else have I got done? I got me a bolt that I've shortened up a little, and I got red paint on it. I don't know if you remember, I told you in the, somewhere in this video or the previous one about the bolt, the bottom bolt on the other side felt like it was bottoming out before it tightened down, so I've shortened it up a little bit. I got my mounting flange on here. You can't see it now because I got that bolted on because I'm getting ready to do a test fit here. But still gonna have to make another trip to town. So my normal bolts, you know, they fit pretty sloppy in this hole, and even a little bit sloppy where I reamed it out for them. So what I've found is I've got some bolts or studs here for an actual spring hanger mount on a trailer, and it just fits in there. I mean, it with those threads it fits tight. So what my plan is, get in here out of the wind. I'm gonna go to town tomorrow and see if I can find a bolt or even a longer stud like this that has more shoulder. It's going to need to be not quite as long as those bolts I have that I'm using, but close. And then I can shape this bottom end here. Oh, I went in there. Oh, I got this one right here. If I can find, and remember this one screws all the way in and is tight. So if I can find one this size, either a bolt that has this size shoulder further down, or another one of these spring hanger bolts, I will use that to shape, because that'll give me more meat inside that hole that I've hogged out for using this like a dowel. So that's where I'm at right now. Getting closer. Like I say, I'm gonna go test fit this bracket on there, see how it fits, and see where we go from here. So thanks for coming back, and we'll catch you here in a little bit.